Greetings, my name is Kevin Matthews and I am the tax professor. Welcome back to class. Class is still in session, so of course the learning never stops. And today we're going to kind of talk about something I just find interesting. I'll be honest, when I do sort of the initial review of what kind of tax topics I really want to talk about, one of the things that I'll go ahead and do is I'll say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and download a whole bunch of things, and I've got an engine that actually helps me do that. And periodically I come across some fun ones. One of them that we talked about in the past was gambling winnings and lottery winnings. I just think that, that's something that we all kind of talk about. I just was like, hey, just for yucks and giggles, let's see how that kind of works out with that. And this was kind of an interesting one also. Talks about tuition reduction for school employees. And I remember now, in disclosure, if you haven't looked at my LinkedIn profile, or if you haven't looked at anything else about me, I went to a private Jesuit school up in the Northwest, Gonzaga University. I mean, they're very famous for their basketball program. I went there before they were famous for basketball. That's probably admitting how old I am. But here's kind of the whole thing of this is that one of the jokes that we always kind of said, I mean, first of all, the tuition was pretty high. At least I thought it was very high. I remember it was like around $35,000 a year, which back in the mid-90s, that was a pretty high rate for tuition. And I remember we were always kind of joking that what I should do is go have one of my family members go work for the university. That way I could get a reduced rate. Because what happens is a lot of these universities, as a benefit for their employees, to encourage their long-term employees to stick around, is they say, look, if your child comes to our school, or if a family member, or if you want to come to the school, we're going to offer you a reduction in the tuition that we would normally charge for somebody, and sort of to encourage their own employees to get educated. But it's also a way to compensate them for, university work oftentimes it's not where the rich people go. Okay, so that's kind of why they end up doing it. And so what ends up happening is, if you think about it, if you and I were good friends and I said, hey, you come work for me. I'm going to ask you to do some work around my office, and in exchange, I'm going to pay for all your college tuition. Would you do it? Most people would say, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds like a really good deal for me, which it might be, depending on what kind of school you're going to go to. So some people will say, that's a fantastic idea. Here's the question, is it taxable to you? And the answer is going to be yes. It's taxable compensation because you're receiving a benefit in exchange for your services. And so, now here's the question of the day. If you work for the university and they give you this benefit, is it taxable? And the answer is no. There's actually a rule within the tax code that actually waives the tuition taxability for people who work at a university to get an education. And it just says, if it's provided to you, your spouse, or your dependents by a school at which you work, it isn't included in the income, therefore it's not subject to tax. The same treatment applies to reduction in tuition provided by a school other than the one which employs you. So, for example, you could be a member of, a very good example is that up in Washington State, the community colleges were all part of one big network, okay? But they were different universities. So theoretically, you could work for, Spokane Falls Community College. You could have a child who goes to Spokane Community College, which, some of you might say, well, that's nuanced, different. No, it's two completely different organizations, even though they're both owned by, owned and managed by the state of Washington. But the thing that you have to understand is, just by working at Spokane Falls, if they give you a benefit to go to Spokane Falls or Spokane Community College, you can still go to Spokane Community College and not have to pick that up as tuition. And so that's actually a really good benefit for individuals who work at universities. The exclusion is available for reduction in tuition at primary, secondary, high school, undergraduate level, but not at the graduate level, except for certain graduate teaching and research assistants. Tuition reduction qualifying for tax-free treatment may be taken in the form of remittance, a reimbursement of amounts paid, or a tuition waiver. So there's a lot of different ways that they can handle this. There's a lot of different ways this can be taken. I think that if you run into this and you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and talk to your tax advisor. Again, that's a CPA, EA, or tax attorney. And really, if you're not seeing any one of those three designations, you probably ought to go find someone who is, because we're the ones who really work hard to get those designations and learn about this, and also have that continual knowledge and experience to be able to help you out. Again, my name is Kevin Matthews. I am the tax professor. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to reach out to me, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box below. You can also come to me at my website. That's www.betasolutionscpa.com. That's www.betasolutionscpa.com. And one thing that we've been asking a lot in these videos, and we're going to continue here, if you like these videos, please go ahead and hit the like button. We'd really appreciate that, because we're trying to spread the word to people. And then if you like the entire series, please go ahead and hit subscribe. And as we start cranking out more of these videos, of course, this is season 2. I hope we last as long as MASH did. 13 seasons would be, multiple seasons would be a great deal. I don't know how long I don't know if we're going to go MASH level, but it would actually be a pretty awesome thing if we got to do that. But we want to continue on with that, and really looking forward to it. So I want to say thank you very much.